All right, I got you guys pretty much sitting in the passenger seat. Hopefully that GoPro mount holds. Oh man, I'm gonna move this mic nearer to my face. Find the seat. Oh yeah, this seat belt. I forgot about this seat belt. This seat belt's a piece of shit. It holds as long as it ejects as well. All right, headliner's flapping. She's gonna be flapping, that's for sure, because I'm gonna have the window down a bit if they work. I can't see why they wouldn't. They did last year and the car wasn't in the elements, so everything should be beauty playing. Everything should be business as usual. We're sitting at a good 600 RPMs. It's one thing that sucks about this car though, no cup holders. So if I wanted to go to Horton's and get a coffee, I literally got to drive one-handed the whole way. All right, put her in R for race. Let's get out of the driveway. Everything's showing good, we're nominal. Still got a half a tank of 6-year-old gas, or 6-month-old gas in it. Ooh, I let him up. That wasn't on purpose. Oh my God. Just out for a Sunday cruise, don't mind me, don't mind me. Just out for a Sunday jaunt in the Firebird. Just living my best life. Brakes feel good. Everything feels good. Everything feels amazing. Oh, I miss driving this car. I don't know why the hell I did that for like pretty much 5 years, from 2014 to 2019. I never bothered driving the car, and I have no idea why I did that. That was like the meanest thing I did to this car. It's never done me any wrong. I see like big trucks like that one that passed with the flags, and I get nervous because like I can see underneath it while it's like right beside me. Yeah, definitely do miss driving this beast. I will not be driving this to work, to the office. The truck will be used for my daily commutes, mainly because where I got to park now is far away from the office, and these cars are so easy to break into because they have that frameless window. Yeah, I'm not going to risk that, man. Definitely not going to risk that. But you know what I am going to risk is we're going to go down by the waterfront because I want to take a look at Lake Nipissing. That's the lake that's going to be opening up in 41 days. I have a feeling that it's still frozen. Yeah, this car here is literally going to be like a weekend warrior. After work, go out for a cruise if I feel like it, if I'm not busy doing other things. Like, it's amazing how people see me driving this car and they just stop to look. Like, there's not many of these left on the road. A lot of people end up buying these up and then gutting all the shit out of it, putting a big race engine in it, taking it down a drag track and ruining them. So when you see one just driving along, people just tend to like look and go, wow, haven't seen one of those in a while. Take her out for a good little romp, let her stretch her legs. It's one thing I liked about this car though, is I could literally, well, back when gas was $1.50 a liter, I could put like $30 in it and almost fill the tank because it's just got this tiny little tank. Gas is slowly making its way back down until they spike it again. Probably gonna jack it up to $1.90 and surprise, you know, one of those. Apparently I can install a double din dash stereo system in this car. The 84 to 89 had the ability for a double din dash or double din display or whatever, but the problem is the actual insert, like the thing that goes on it, like the cover, nobody makes them. And then I was on Thingiverse the other day and I came across somebody actually built one for these cars. So I'm thinking I need that because I might put a double din display in here with like a Google stereo or something with Bluetooth. That's all I want is Bluetooth. So when I do fix up the stereo, so I have 4 speakers in here and I don't have to play the thing on max to hear any tunes and have them sound like shit, I can actually enjoy some music while I drive, because sometimes I like doing that. I'll say 90% of the times I'm just driving with the windows down listening to the pipes, because the exhaust does sound pretty neat sometimes, especially when you goose it. Yeah, $177.3 is what we're at right now for gas. So It was a $1.87 last week. It came down to a $1.80 and then a $1.77, and hopefully she keeps dropping because Jesus Murphy, there's no reason for that gouging. Also guys, just so you know, I do have my cell phone on me, so worst case scenario, I can call for help if anything happens, but I don't think anything's gonna happen. But I am gonna take your advice. It was mentioned to change out the fuel pump on the fuel filter on this car. I haven't done that ever, so I'm gonna have to look into how that's done and get it done. I know where it is. It's underneath the driver's side, like by the rocker. I looked that up in the Crayola coloring book I have for the car on where the part was, but I've honestly just never done it because I don't think about it. All these new modern vehicles, right? They got that shit built into the tank. This car does not. And this is the road I was on when I broke the mirror. My driver's side door mirror, rear view, whatever you want to call it, side mirror. I was in the other lane heading towards, coming towards me. English is hard today, guys, but I was in the farmost right lane. Oh, there's a Camaro, 3rd gen Camaro, nice. He's probably saying, oh, there's a 3rd gen Firebird, nice, hey? Oh, shit, yeah, it's not even summer, and we're all too anxious in getting our summer cars out prematurely. There's still a bunch of that salt shit on the ground. Just gonna rot the frame on this. Well, this isn't a framed car, it's a unibody, but you know what I mean. Just gonna rot my shit. But yeah, so definitely got to get that front end looked at because she's kind of squirrely. I can control it. It's just, it'd be better if I didn't have to spend so much time putting input in the steering wheel. But anyway, I was coming up the other way, and there beside me was an Oldsmobile Alero, and this drunk guy driving a Toyota Tercel decided to try and like lane split, and he scraped up against the Alero, and his plastic mirror hit my metal mirror and exploded, and he cracked the glass on my mirror. So I had to go to the cops and like tell them what happened and give a statement and all this shit, and I forgot about that accident. I remembered about it when I was doing a job interview for a corrections officer for the North Bay jail, and they're like, I talked about I had a moving infraction. That was on video where I didn't give enough room for a tow truck driver, or no, for a cop. Cop had a guy pulled over, and I failed to give him enough room, he said, but I managed to get it thrown out of court because it was stupid. I had the video footage. I was filming the whole drive back on my GoPro, and I was like in the other lane. I was making the lane change. Okay, I didn't make a complete lane change, but I didn't see him till it was too late because he pulled the guy over on the top of a hill, and all I saw was the lights, and I was like, oh, piss. So I started making the lane change. I got halfway over, and then I came back in, and then he just bails me for failing to give him enough space. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, are you freaking serious right now? Yeah, man, had a lot of good times in this car. A lot of good times. Remember, I got it in 2002. And it sucked because I bought it in 2002, December 2001, and put it on the road, but I couldn't drive it. Like, I literally got it, I had to bring it to the shop around the corner from my parents' house to get it certified. And all it needed was a catalytic converter. So we put that in. And then it needed some brake work too. So we had all that shit said and done, certified, and then I bring it home, and I couldn't drive it in the winter because the tires on it were performance summer tires. Oh yeah, that lake is frozen. Sheesh, just kibosh. Son of a bitch. Oh well. But yeah, so I couldn't drive the car. So I'm literally sitting there every day just staring at it. It snowed. I would go outside, clean the snow off of it, and be like, it's okay, you'll get on the road soon. And then finally, I remember that year, snow finally melted enough in March. And I'm like, I can't wait anymore. I grabbed my keys, I ran out to it and just fired it up. Yeah, I remember firing it up, and then I was parking at my neighbor's house in his driveway. He had a big driveway, and he's like, oh yeah, you can park it here. He goes, I won't even charge you anything, you can just park it here. It looks like the lake is open, but No, that's frozen. It's also really freaking low. I think it was like that last year too. Yeah, that's frozen. Oh shit. Like I saw that pothole, and rather than trying to like jerk the wheel and dodge it, I just made the Vin Diesel face, the squinchy. That's a thing. It's probably not a thing. It could be a thing. Let's just make it a thing. Oh yeah, man. I miss driving this car. This is great. Yeah, just so many memories in it. Like hanging out with Joe. Like we were going down Lakeshore Drive. He had his 5.0 Mustang. I had my 5.0 Firebird. We're driving side by side, doing 35 kilometers an hour, and we called it the 10-liter wall. Never got in shit for that one. That was pretty good. My buddy Joe, he has I want to say a 1994. No, 1991, sorry. 1991 Fox body Mustang GT. So he's got the 302 under the hood, 225 horsepower, I believe it is, or 235, I can't remember. I can't remember the numbers on the Fox body. But pretty sweet car, 5-speed manual transmission. And that's what everybody always says, oh, why'd you get an automatic? I'm like, because I wanted a manual. Until I did the research and realized the manual transmissions they were stuffing in these things was complete bunk. There's a reason why you cannot buy a Firebird 350 with a 5-speed transmission that isn't aftermarket. Because the ones GM was putting in them, the Tremec 5s, were exploding. Anything over like 300 foot-pounds of torque, and the transmission would just come apart. So on the 305 or 350 TPI, the L98 engine always came with an automatic, a 700 R4, like I have under the hood of this thing, or under the body of this thing. But the 305 TPI and the 305 TBI and the V6 and the, heaven forbid you bought one, the inline 4, the Iron Duke 2.5 liter, they all came, they had the option for a manual or automatic. And I know a guy who actually bought a Camaro RS, and it came with the Iron Duke. He ended up, just to make it feel like it had somewhat of a car under that he was driving, he ended up redoing the rear end and taking out the, they had 3-2-3 gear ratio in them to give them, like this has 2-7-3, so it's got highway gears. He had the 3-2-3, and he bumped them up to 410, just so it just felt like more car, but it still sounded like ass because it was a 4-cylinder. It's like, congratulations, bud, you got the engine of a Chevette and the body of a muscle car. Like, what was General Motors thinking? Oh yeah, I want a Trans Am, but I want fuel economy. Say no more. And there's a couple people on the old thirdgen.org site, which is probably still open. I would assume they're still open. A couple of them had them, and they took them to the track and drag raced them and said it was the longest 28 seconds of their life. Doing a quarter mile in 28 seconds, I'm like, holy crap. It's like, these cars are heavy. There's nothing light about these Firebirds and Camaros. They're a heavy bucket. Maybe we'll take a rip down Premier Road. I'm literally just out for a cruise, guys. Like, I'm just like, I should be at home doing laundry and going through my closet, but instead I'm out here burning expensive gas, but at the time I purchased it, it wasn't so bad, and just enjoying life. And it's great. It's fantastic. Feels weird sitting this low to the ground though. Holy piss. Like, you're in the truck and you can just see it. You can see the roof of every car. And then I'm in this thing and I can see literally the undercarriage of every car. Like, I could probably use this to change that SUV's oil, or even that truck's oil. I don't know if I'm going too slow or not. That's another thing that's wrong with this car, is I broke the speedometer. I went too fast and I broke the spring on it. Oh, piss. Oh well. I did North Bay to Temagami run, and I did it, it's about a 90 kilometer run, and I did it in 32 minutes. I don't know how fast I was going because the speedometer only goes to 185, and I had it wrapped around on the stop pin and it was bending, and I broke the spring on the speedometer, so now it misreads your speed. So that's one thing, like with those 273s out back and this new transmission, because the 700 R4 in here, back in 2007, it broke. It would slip out of gear. So you put it in drive, you'd be driving along and you'd feel the car pulling, and then all of a sudden it felt like it was in neutral. And then you'd feel it pulling again, and it was in neutral. So I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I messaged my buddy about it. I'm like, because he's a transmission guy. He was working at a transmission shop down here, Bossard. And I'm like, listen, this is what my car is doing, and I don't know what the hell is the problem. Like, he's like, did you check the transmission fluid? And I said, yeah, it's right where it should be. Like, he said, you put it in drive and it should be on the spot. He said, yeah. He goes, okay, so everything's good there, but it's like it's plugged or something, because it keeps, like, you put it in reverse, the car will start backing up, and then it's like the gear falls off or something, and then it's just free riding. And he's like, oh, what kind of transmission's in there? And I told him 700 R4, and he's like, yeah, I can guarantee you 100% it's broken. He's like, you're going to need a transmission overhaul. I was like, oh, okay. How much is that going to cost me? And it ended up costing me like $2,300 to rebuild the transmission. But I told him, I said, okay, we're not using General Motors parts. Let's go aftermarket. So we put a B&M shift kit in it. So it's stage 2. We put an aftermarket 1800 stall, I think it is, performance torque converter in it. Because he told me for the type of driving I'm doing, an 1800 stall is more than enough. We put the Corvette servo in it, and there was something else he did that I just can't remember. But they completely rebuilt it from the ground up, and he said, like, easily right now this transmission could probably take 450 foot-pounds of torque before seeing any problems. Well, that's where Mr. Transmission moved to. Oh, cute. So yeah, put a brand new this is the whole reason why I'm like, well, I really don't want to do an LS. Everybody's like, oh, just put an LS in it, put an LS in it. Drop an LS1, drop an LS3 in it, just go to the wreckers and get an LS. And I really don't want to do that, just because of the key reason of the transmission in it is great and the motor still drives. Like, I'm moving along pretty good right now. I did a pretty sick burnout right outside my house. Like, I don't need to go. I don't need like 500 horsepower under the hood of this thing. My street racing days are over. Back in 2003, 2004, every night after work, I'd get off work at midnight, and then I'd text my buddy Bernie and be like, hey man, what's up? And he'd be like, street racing at this location. And I'm like, okay, I'm on. And I would go, and like, yeah, I used to race this car. You're probably laughing, but back then this car was actually pretty quick compared to the shit that was on the road. You know, you'd have somebody show up with a friggin' 90 horsepower Honda Civic with Lee press-on plastic thinking they're all fast and furious, but the car was a bucket. Off the line, I would blow them away. I just have to keep them back because I'd top out, like my speed would, I'd lose acceleration pretty quick because the horsepower. But off the line, I'd smoke them and then just keep them back for the quarter mile. So yeah, we did a lot of Mexican street racing back in the day. And if you're wondering why I'm calling it Mexican street racing, it's because of those YouTube channels where they're doing like hoonigan stuff and they're just totally giving her on the roads. And they're like, oh yeah, we're down in Mexico. So it's like, no, you're not. You live in friggin' Minnesota, bud. You didn't drive to Mexico just so you could street race. Pull up. Oh yeah, this is a great road to test the suspension on, for sure. For sure. I forgot about this. It's like they're not paying their taxes down here or something because the roads are complete kife. But yeah, man, it feels good to have her out again. I was all like last night, I was chatting with Nikki and I went to let Oreo out. And then I looked outside and went, you gotta be shitting me right now. I'm like, no wonder why the car didn't start. She's like, why? And I'm like, because we got at least a good 3 inches of snow on the ground. And she's like, what? It's accumulating there? And I'm like, yeah. Like, that guy's still got a lot of snow around those trees. Like, a lot of these good, like, you're looking at the lawns and they're pretty bare. So I was just like kind of upset by the fact that we had all that snow. But then this morning I woke up and it was still there and I was really pissed. But then by lunchtime, I friggin' went and took a piss, let the dog out, and looked outside and went, okay, it's all gone. This is great. This is awesome. I'm just happy I got a car again. Like, I'm gonna friggin' do stuff with this thing this summer. We're gonna have some fun. That's what I say about the channel, guys. Like, You've subscribed to Skivinz, the official Heinz 57 of friggin' YouTube. You know, I literally went from weightlifting to biking to car stuff to computer stuff to video editing stuff, back to car stuff to fishing stuff to 3D printing stuff. Welcome to the Heinz 57 channel on YouTube. Like, might as well just call it what it is. I got an exhaust leak somewhere. I'm taking on a lot of exhaust. Do I have the crotch coolers open? Yes, I do. I love this car for that, though. That vent in the bottom that can cool your crotch. The only problem is there's a lot of exhaust smell coming in from it, and I don't know why. I'm sure when I have this thing on the hoist, I'll have Buddy just look it over. I definitely do want to. I'm going to get R&S Auto to do the front end links, because once Nikki moves to Huntsville, I do plan on this summer driving this thing out there. A good long highway drive with this car would do it so good. It would just clear out all the carbon in the engine, burn off all the friggin' bullshit residue, and just make it such a better friggin' vehicle. Alright, well, this is all still frozen. I was going to go check out Lavaz River, but I don't know if I want to drive back there on that washboard, so I'm just going to scoot back down the road, and then we're going to casually make our way back home. I'm just looking for open water where I can cast and test those baits. I'm really curious what their action's going to be like, but you know, I don't want to waste time painting them if they're complete tomato soup. This would have been a good time to bring the extendable rod. But I know Trout Lake is completely cocked over. It's frozen right now. So that lake's out of commission. I can't use that lake for testing. But after a couple more days of this plus 10, plus 15, a little bit of rain here, a little bit of heavy wind there, it should cause the ice to shift enough, break up, and then start to really melt. As long as the ice is off the lake by May 21st, or I'm ripping holes with the auger. Like, seriously. Speaking of the auger, I was looking up, I typed in ice fishing on Thingiverse to see what they had. So I came across a 3D printable auger attachment for when you convert. See, a lot of people go to Canadian Tire and they convert their manual auger like mine into a drill auger. So you can attach a drill to it. But all they do is buy this bit that clips onto your, it basically goes into your drill chuck, and then the other end goes over top of the shaft of the, oh balls. I'm just gonna let this bus go because he's pretty wide, and so am I. Not really, but I just don't feel like contending with a bus. Yeah, so one end goes over top of your, the chuck in your drill. It goes in the chuck of the drill. And the other end goes into the shaft on the auger. Now, these things are prone to breaking, and I went on Canadian Tire's website because a company they have there called Woods sells them. It's like their in-house brand. And they're about $15. But I know they're notorious for breaking. Actually, Struck has posted a video on Facebook, on his Facebook, of his buddy testing it out. And sure as shit, the thing broke and the auger went into the depths. So luckily, Struck has had his fishing magnet there, and he sent it down a couple times, and he actually found the auger and was able to bring it back up. But man, the amount of times you see that happen, you look up YouTube on fishing or auger adapter fail or something like that, you're gonna find a whole bunch of people who literally sent their augers into the depths. Well, anyway, this 3D printable thing is literally a giant circle with a handle. It's thick, like, so you can grab it. It doesn't spin with the auger. It's designed to actually sit between two washers and spin on its own, so you can hang on to it while you're drilling and keep control over the auger, which I personally thought was pretty damn friggin' brilliant. And then just to make sure it worked, Buddy actually puts a video out showing him on the ice ripping holes with it. Mind you, his choice of drill was probably not the best, and I'm pretty sure that drill no longer works because he had an 18 volt DeWalt like mine, and my drill's brushed. And you're supposed to use a brushless with those setups if you're going to use a battery operated drill. So yeah, guys, when I go to the point, it's right over here where I go in, and it's right back there at that school where I park. And it's perfect. It's a great spot to fish. See, I'm a different kind of angler. Most anglers don't give away their spots. I don't really care. Just as long as I get there and it's not too packed, and if it is, I'm standing right beside you and casting. because that's how we do. Yeah, I'd say this is a good run for the first run of the car, but I am noticing that I do definitely need to do the headliner because it literally hangs over and covers up like 1/3 of the window down back there, so that needs to get fixed. So I got to look into how to disassemble all the side trim, all the plastic bits around the doors, because that has to come off to release the head panel. I'll set up my sawhorses in the garage, put the head panel on it, get some fabric from Fabricland. Apparently SpongeBob SquarePants is winning the votes right now, so we'll have to see how we do. But now that I can 3D print fabric, I'm almost tempted to put something Skivinz in the car, like big time. Like that Skivinz I printed out, I was tempted to put that on the nose of the car, do it in like a flexible PLA, and then adhere it to the front of the car. But then I'm like, nah, let's just keep her all original. It's cooler that way. It's way cooler that way to keep her original. Keep her saucy. Keep her awesome. Well, I guess that guy's going to be opening up his fish truck soon. His food truck. Really good ice cream there. Really good ice cream. That's a couple of years ago I posted a picture on Instagram of this strawberry banana ice cream. It had real strawberries, real bananas, but then it had marshmallow strawberries and marshmallow bananas as well. And oh my friggin' god, was it ever good. And then they put like a strawberry and banana cream in it. Oh yeah, it was by far the best thing I ever put in my face hole. I loved it. It was awesome. It was amazing. 10 out of 10 would face blast again. So yeah, a little bombing around in the car. I don't know how we're doing on GoPro battery, but that thing there is good for 1/2 of 10 minutes, and we've already exceeded that, so hopefully it doesn't die. Hopefully it doesn't die. So yeah, what do you guys think of car vlogs? Like just driving around and talking about shit. You think it's good? I know people used to watch motorcycle vlogs where like motorcyclists would strap a GoPro to their face and drive around and talk. Car vlogs are kind of the same, except for we can't do wheelies. Well, I could if I put that LS1 in here and big slicks probably, but you're not supposed to do that on public roads. Cops frown on it. It's a true story. I'm not even making that up. So yeah, things that I definitely need to do to this car. Number one, the hood struts. I definitely need to put new hood struts in so the hood can stay up on its own. Number two, I really want new rear speakers so I can have proper sound in this car. Number three, some sort of a Bluetooth stereo so I can use my phone with Spotify to play music instead of putting music on a pen drive. What's number four? The headliner. Headliner needs to be fixed big time. As far as mechanical work goes that I can't do, I'm going to have the shop do the front links. That won't be part of a video. That'll just be all right guys, TransAm's in the shop getting the front links done. All right guys, time to go pick up the TransAm at the shop. And the reason why I'm picking this one shop is because it's literally around the corner from my house, so I can drive it there, drop it off, walk home, and then when it's ready, walk there, pick it up, and drive it home. But it's actually not too bad on like this street here. She's not messing around too much. It feels fine. It's just on like Trout Lake Road where like the big transports are always driving, so they put huge dips in the road. The tires will seek the dips. And I looked at it, like Rex literally told me, he's like, oh, it sounds like your front sway bars, your front links are shot. And I was like, oh. So I looked up what do front links do on Google, because if what they do is what I'm feeling, then yeah, that's exactly it. Like if the front links are whack, then your car's not gonna be all over the place. It's gonna be a mess, and we have 8% battery life left, so probably should have charged this thing up or brought a battery pack with me to charge it. But all right guys, well I guess that's gonna be about it of story time with Skivinz riding around in the TransAm. I'm gonna basically take this thing home and put a charge on the camera. So hopefully you enjoyed the cruise video. And if you did, click that like button, and any questions, comments, concerns, down below they go. And until next time, guys, live it to win it, and peace the frig out. Sit, stupid, sit. Good dog.